स्पॉटलाइट में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट अमीता। Join us weekly to get information from inspiring guests to bring about positive changes in your lives and in your community. Speech is an important form of communication. When such a basic activity of daily living is hard to execute, we have to turn to the professionals. Our guest today will shed some light on this topic. She's a speech-language pathologist, the founder and the executive director of Kickstart Therapy, and the coordinator of the local health integrated network. It's my pleasure to have on our show Miss Seema Shah. Welcome, Seema.
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते। तो पहले आपके बारे में कुछ जानेंगे, तो हमें बताइए, where did you grow up and how did you come to Canada?
Thank you, Amitha, to have me on the show. मैं इंडिया में born and raised हुई, and then वहाँ से after marriage we came to Canada as a new immigrant, and there is always a process that you have to go through for licensing. And I had that rough period, a critical period in my life when I was applying for my license with the college. But finally everything paid off और मुझे license मिल गया. And this is how we came to Canada. But when you asked about upbringing, I would say जो हमारे parents and siblings होते हैं, elderlies, उनका role बहुत important होता है, and that is what has happened in my case. My elder brother and my elder sister, उन्होंने guide किया मुझे to go into this field. Because usually in my family everyone is an engineer. Knowing that everyone is in the engineering background, or मेरी जो likings थी, the way I was more kind and charity based. So when I was in school तब भी मैं vision impairment लोगों के लिए I was collecting money for them at that young age. So knowing what my background is and my qualities are, my brother and sister, उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि this would be the field for you to go in. So that's how I went into this field.
Nice.
And it was, I remember, उस time पे Ali Awarjung National Institute, from every state they used to select only one student. So I represented Gujarat.
Nice.
In that time.
Well done.
Thank you.
So this is so great, when you have supportive siblings who steer you the right way.
Absolutely.
So, and speech language pathology, I mean, it is very well known here, but it is not, it was not well known back then when you were doing it.
Yeah.
So enlighten us, how can, a simple thing like speech become a problem?
Yes, speech therapy, again, India mein, it was not that very common thing, but it is more crucial. Communication, as we know, कि without communication we cannot survive. हम लोग different kinds of communications होते हैं. एक तो बात करके एक दूसरे को अपना expression करते हैं. एक होता है non-verbal. Just looking at you with your gestures, I can understand what is going on, right? We can use gesture, point, oh, get me that. The person would know exactly what you're talking about. If the child or the person is not able to communicate, then there are so many negative emotions that goes on. You see negative side of it, where frustration, behavior, temper tantrums, crying, aggression, all that comes out.
Yeah, when you cannot express what's going on.
Absolutely. So this is like the most critical piece. So we see that with children who are not able to talk, they will have difficulties, and then they will have negative behaviors, some of them. So to reduce that negative behaviors, we have to work on therapy to improve the communication so that they can communicate it and can be understood by the parents also at times. And आपने देखा होगा कि seniors में या adults में जिनको motor vehicle accident हो जाता है, they have that executive functioning, उनको problem होती है कि they can understand but they're not able to express. Same thing with stroke patient. After a stroke, if it's the left side of the brain that is impaired, then they have the language piece, the speech that is impacted too.
Wow.
So it has and once you're not able to communicate in older seniors, then they're not able to express, they are frustrated, they get depressed, they're not able to work anymore. The communication between the husband and wife or children is broken down. So there becomes a lot of negative, issues that goes on. So definitely speech and communication is the most critical piece.
Yes.
For a human being.
Wow, just sitting and listening to you, yeah, we take it for granted.
Absolutely.
हम सब में जिनमें speech की problem नहीं होती. I mean, we may all have minor issues here and there, but when it's not a major issue, we take it for granted. Absolutely. So it's every age group may end up having a problem. So it's great to have आपके जैसे जो expert है हमें guide करे. Now, Toronto में एक बात है. Multilingual clientele out there.
Yes.
So when you deal with that, what is the challenge?
You know what? Multilingual, knowing as I speak a couple of languages, being from India, so it's always good to connect that way. But yes, you have to know the person with that ethnicity, like what is acceptable in that, in their culture. For example, for Chinese population, they will not give eye contact, and that is still okay. That is acceptable. The same thing with some of the South Asians. When they're talking, the children will not look at you because for them it's been taught कि जब adults बैठे होते हैं बात कर रहे होते हैं तो उनके सामने तुम आँख से आँख नहीं मिला सकते. Respect के तौर पे. But these are the things that you have to understand.
Wow.
And I am glad that I am from a country which is rich in heritage and culture with different, linguistic backgrounds that we can understand easily and we can incorporate that.
Very, very, very good to have you here. Because, like we were saying, it's such a basic form of communication and yet there's so much intricacy to it.
Absolutely.
तो आप जानना चाहेंगे आपकी organization के बारे में. You have founded it, you are the CEO, लेकिन उसकी और जाने से पहले लेते एक छोटा सा break. Spotlight में फिर से आपका स्वागत है. We are talking to the speech language pathologist, Miss Seema Shah. तो अब जानना चाहेंगे आपकी organization के बारे में. You are the founder and the CEO of Kickstart Therapy. तो हमें बताइए.
Thank you. Yes. How I started Kickstart Therapy, let me just tell you about that first. Erino Kids is a program that is in Mississauga Peel region में, that is a government funded program. उसमें काम करती थी as a speech language pathologist. But the waiting time जो वहाँ पे है, that was around 10 to 12 months for a child to wait to get into enrollment and assessment done. And I was there for a couple of years. But then noticing that early intervention is very critical. And when you're missing that 1 year mark, like 1 year waiting to get into the program for assessment, that was something that was not acceptable with me. So I decided to open my own company and started doing more assessment right away, treatment and whatever is needed, workshops for parents, awareness. I will go into the information sessions, we'll go to the communities, we'll go into the seniors programs and just give them awareness about what is speech therapy and what they can do to create that. So this is how I created Kickstart Therapy. Slowly, I added occupational therapy to it. Then we added ABA, IBI services to it, and the speech therapy, of course. And right now, we are providing all these services with Kickstart Therapy. The good thing about Kickstart Therapy is there is no waiting time.
Wow.
So
nice.
If anybody comes in, they get right away services. And our services are not expensive. I would say usually it is whatever the rate is going on as decided by the college. But agar koi family bolte hain ki they cannot afford because they don't have insurance, we try to work around and do provide some, funding or places or organizations jahan se wo funding le sakte hain for free of cost and then provide the care. but money is not a reason that will hold back providing care to the child.
You'll find some means to get them the help they need.
Yes.
So, आपकी तरफ referral करना पड़ता है या they can self-refer?
They can self-refer.
Okay.
There is no reason, but yeah, it depends upon the insurance company. कोई insurance company होती है that requires medical referrals from a physician. So for those insurance company that does require, you have to go through that so that you get reimbursed your amount. Otherwise, if your insurance company does not require them, that you can do self-referral.
Referral, great.
Yes.
Now, apart from the Kickstart therapy, जहाँ पर you do educate, when the clients come in there, you have also held information sessions to educate parents. क्योंकि जैसे कि आपने कहा, it's very important to intervene early on. So it's important to be aware of it. So tell us about some of these information sessions.
Yes, depending upon the need, we do programs where we give parents awareness programs that is called speech and language awareness programs. We talk about the criteria that the child should have to be on the normal age range. For example, the per sound or the k sound should be done by 3 years of age. If child does not acquire that, then you do need speech therapy for that. So those are the things we give them ideas and suggestions what to look for in a child in what age range. So those kind of information session we hold, and usually they are done every 3 months basis. And we also do parent workshop for autism programs. So we run More Than Words program, which is specifically catered for children diagnosed with autism, and that is to teach parents how to incorporate strategies to work with those children at home.
So that's great. So coming to autism, I understand you are a member of the Peel chapter.
Yes.
So हमें बताइए कि what is Autism Ontario doing in terms of services?
Autism, as you know, it's growing very rapidly. Right now, 1 in 59th child is diagnosed with autism, and so Government of Ontario, they launched this program that is called Ontario Autism Program, where the waiting time, unfortunately, is 2 years, so 24 months. But the good thing is there is a lot of funding available through them. So it's around 8 grants or 10 grants, depending upon what is required.
Okay.
They do the assessment, and either families have 2 options. One is they could go with the ERINOC, that is government-funded CTN program, to use their OAP money and get the services from them, or they can hire privately someone to provide the same care.
Okay.
When you go with ERINOC kids, the only thing is you have to take the child to them. And when you do privately, there are centers where they will come to you, or you can go to them either way. Yeah.
So
Ontario, that is a very good program, and I really appreciate finally government is doing something, because this is rapidly increasing. The unfortunate part, Amitha, is that in schools, the services are very limited, very, very limited. So that's the very unfortunate part.
But at least it's getting better. I mean, there's visionaries like you who have started Kickstart therapy. You're providing those information sessions because, like I was saying earlier, it's such a basic form of communication. We wouldn't think there's a problem. So when you bring about those information sessions, then we become more aware of it.
Absolutely.
We become more vigilant. And then I would say that's probably why we are seeing more autism cases, because there's better detection now, because people are so vigilant and aware about it. So hopefully it'll keep getting better. And especially, like I said, if there are people like yourself who are spreading that information, that is great. And fingers crossed, we just keep getting better and better.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to go to the other side, the professionals who are providing
Yes.
the the care, because you're also, like we said, the coordinator of the local health integrated network. So tell us, how do you deal with the professionals, the physicians and the allied healthcare professionals?
So yes, local health integrated network. Let me just explain what it is for our viewers. It is a portion, it's a home care basically. In olden days, local health integrated network was called as a home care services, where hospitals से जिनको सर्विसेज कंटिन्यू उनको रहना पड़ता, बल्कि उनकी जगह वो लोग उनको निकाल के घर भेज देते, एंड देन द सर्विसेज दैट कम्स टू यू एट होम इन योर होम कंफर्ट, दैट इज़ होम केयर. उसके अंदर नर्सिंग सर्विसेज आती हैं, स्पीच थेरेपी सर्विसेज आती हैं, occupational therapy services आती है, physiotherapy, personal care, dietitian, social work. All these are in that services that are included. And the good thing is local health integrated is all completely free of cost. It's completely free. So make use of it. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपके घर में कोई सीनियर है, वो बार बार चलते टाइम गिर जाते हैं, they're not able to balance, then he might just require an OT assessment. You can call your local health integrated network in your area. So if you live in Mississauga-Halton area, then it is called Mississauga-Halton Local Health Integrated Network. If you live in Brampton or Caledon, then you need to call Central West LIN, which is Central West Local Health Integrated Network. Same is with the Toronto Local Health Network, or if you live in Markham, then it is the Central Local Health Network. You can call, you can Google it, write your postal code and write the LHIN, LIN, and it will show you where you are and which LIN you falls under. But as I said, it's free of cost. You just have to call them, dial the number, no referral required, and you would be able to receive the services. I wanted to give you a quick example. I have a friend whose father-in-law has dementia. And she is working so hard as a caregiver, day and night. You understand, like for dementia, kitna difficult hota hai. So if you have something like this, just pick up the call, phone and dial that number in your local health integrated network. You will get some support which is free of cost for your parents, and make use of it. There are seniors day programs as well. Every region has those programs which are government subsidized, so that you get relief and they get some brain stimulation and companionship. Yes. So please make use of that.
So that's the good thing about being in Canada. There's lots of resources. Yes. And thank you, Seema. You've told us a lot about what's out there, and we are not alone. So we have to talk to you more about everything else that you do. But before that, it's time for a short break. Spotlight में फिर से आपका स्वागत है. We are getting a lot of good information from speech language pathologist Miss Seema Shah. So this is great, Seema. आपने हमें इतना कुछ बताया about the services that are out there. Now coming back to you, beyond all that you do that we just heard about, you also volunteer in organizations. So tell us more.
Yes, and I think it's always good to give back to community, which I do as a professional, service as well as outside. So I am, again, I'm so passionate about children. We do volunteer work to donate, collect money. So we run a lemonade stand camp every summer to collect money for Hospital of Sick Children. I'm also involved with the cultural organizations as well. With the couple of them, there are ethnic cultural organizations, and I work with children and teach them dance.
Nice.
Yes, and help them perform on stages. As well as with the volunteer, I have been doing a little bit more with the teaching of Vedas. So I do some little small courses for children and teach them the Vedic chantings and all that
Nice.
as well.
Wow, Seema, आप इतना कुछ करती हो, and it sounds like you work with children, our future, starting
Yes.
right from the beginning. लेकिन I find, well, I at least think that when you deal with so much, with the children, the problems associated with speech, it can get emotionally draining. So what do you do to unwind at the end of the day?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone needs that, isn't it? And yes, what I do is I do yoga and meditation.
Nice.
Those are the two things that I do, as well as, when you are around kids, you don't feel the stress because they are so pure. So I have 2 children and I enjoy company with them, and my husband, of course. So yes, but yoga and meditation are part of me.
Nice.
So that keeps me going.
I love it. You are working in what you're passionate about, so it's not work, but you also practice what you preach. So you're looking at, prevention with the services that you provide and early intervention.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing in your life as well when you unwind.
That's
Well,
true.
Well, you are doing it, and you're quite inspirational. You told us about the struggles you had to kind of establish here. So a lot of us come here and think we cannot get into the field we want to, but you're a prime example of that. So do you have any words of advice for the viewers who are watching us?
Dream big and don't give up. Continue going. If you lose, then it's not that you have lost completely. You have learned something from it, and keep going. Thank you.
Very well said, Seema. So we are so happy you came and shared your story with us and shared what you do at Kickstart Therapy. So it's just a call away, and all the services that the Government of Ontario provides, which we were not aware of. So thank you so much once again.
It's my pleasure, Amitha.
Okay. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, Amitha.
Thank you. So that was Miss Seema Shah. She enlightened us today about speech-related issues, its diagnosis, management, and about all the services that are out there for you, so you're not alone. Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Thank you for watching us. Continue to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and write to us at spotlight@ethnicchannels.com. Until next week, this is Amitha signing off, encouraging you to be vigilant about others around you.